Hey, what's up? This is Smitty. I just really wanted to make a video on box squats, in particular how to do a box squat and how not to do a box squat. Box squatting has become my favorite movement for strongman. I've been somewhat subdued about it on Instagram and things like that because I do want to keep it to myself and my athletes a little bit, because I think it's so great for strongman that I don't really want everyone else doing it. I'm filming today in front of all my trophies so that you know that I'm legit, and that kind of verifies me, so you know that anything I say right now must be true because of that. So I'm going to play a video of today's session on box squats. These are my warm-up sets and me sitting down onto a bench. You'll notice that it's a bench press. That's still a box squat. It doesn't have to be a box. Let's clear that up first. I'm using a safety bar today with chains. I'll save that speech on the safety bar or accommodating resistance for another video. So this isn't a box squat. This is me touching my bum onto the bench, which is something that people may do. That's just sitting onto a bench. This is using a wider stance, and that's just touching your butt. That is not a box squat. A box squat is when we reach back, pause, and then explode back up. Reach back, pause, and explode fast on the way up. Here's another angle. I'm actually arching my back pretty hard. Control down, slight pause at the bottom, and then fast up. This is not a box squat. That's me. You can see my knees going forward, missing the bench. I don't even think I meant that. This is called plopping. You can see I'm not controlling. I'm just kind of going down. So here's a good and a bad box squat. You can see the top one there. The shin angle is very similar to just the normal squat, with the angle going, or the shin going backwards from the heel up toward the knee, and then down the bottom there. A vertical shin angle is what we're after. Here's slow-mo of me plopping. So we want to reach back with tightness in the hamstrings. We don't just want to sit and fall like that. That can be painful doing it that way. That's kind of smashing your spine. Here's a good version. I'm reaching back, everything's engaged. I pause for a second and then explode back up. So you can see again, arch the back nice and tight. So everything's tight. I'm not just plopping on the way down. That's another thing that I want you guys to fix up when you're doing your box squat. So here's a few more angles today. Nice wide stance, knees being pushed out, slight pause at the bottom. As you can see on that one, knees out, slight reaching back, slight pause, fast up. And that's how it's done. Again, this is not a box squat. This one's about breathing. You can see here my big belly. I don't want you to sit down and pause and take a breath like this. That's dumb. So you're not relaxing at the bottom. When we go down, we're not relaxing. Here's a fantastic camera angle by me, I know. So we're going to sit back, take a big breath in here. You can see me. Sit, relax the hips, but I hold that breath. I hold that core tight. Everything's tight, the upper back, when we sit on the box. This one here showing how I push the knees out. I'm using the outside of my feet, so that's how wide my stance is. We want to use as wide a stance as possible without it being painful. You can see that I'm pushing on the outside of my feet, so a more supportive shoe would probably be better. You don't have to aim for your ankles to be rolling around like that, but I'm pushing on the outside of my feet. Here's my most proud moment, my 10th set, and my favorite video angle. This is just amazing here. And then I paused it in a second. So you can see what it looks like at the bottom. You can see I've got vertical shins. My heels are about in line with my knees. That's some purple lines pointing out that the knees are pointing the same way as the toes, so we don't want those knees to come in. Here's Alira doing some last week. So that's just on the same height box, and she's a taller person, so that's a little bit lower for her. But you can see she's reaching back, not plopping, up nice and fast. And then yeah, bloody beautiful. Pretty damn good. So I do still do free squats. This was 2 weeks ago, getting a 200 kilo safety bar squat. This is me jumping real high on a skateboard, and this is why we do box squats. This is what I wanted to get into and why it's my favorite movement for strongman. Because we're getting rid of the stretch reflex when we pause on the box, we're building explosiveness. The wide stance is going to help train the hips, glutes, and hamstrings even more for the log clean, as you just saw, and stones and things like that. That's the end of the video. So the reason we do box squatting for strongman, the reason I recommend it is not to get better at squatting. It's not to get better at wide stance squatting or to get better at box squatting. We're using that movement as a tool to train our body to get better at all the other things we need to do. And there's so many movements in strongman that we need to be good at, so we need to choose movements that have the biggest carryover. So that's why squats are so renowned for strongman, even though squats might only pop up in like 5% of competitions. Getting stronger at squatting will create stronger quads, stronger hips and hamstrings and core and things like that. I think the box squat is just the next step up. Using the wide stance, we get to train the musculature of the hips and the posterior chain a lot more. So it's going to help our deadlift. It's going to help all these events that I just went through there: jumping, sprinting, carrying things, picking things up. And we train it without the stretch reflex. So that's going to help our deadlift more, because the deadlift, as we know, is a dead lift. We don't get the stretch reflex on that. So personally, I'm sold on the box squat. Everyone that trains here is finally getting used to them now, and they're all about them. This video though, I just wanted mainly the people that I write programs for the online programming. A lot of you guys haven't done box squats before, and I put box squats in your program, and I just wanted you guys to have a video to refer to make sure you're doing them properly. So that's it from me. Let me know if you got any questions. Find me on Facey or Instagram, because I don't really check the comments on this here YouTube very often. Alright, happy lifting.